up, mamas? Thanks so much for being here with me. We have Chelsea Brown. She's an information security consultant and has been helping parents secure their homes from the dangers of cyberspace for the past 8 years. We're going to be talking about how to use technology effectively to help keep your kids safe. Chelsea, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. I'm super excited to talk to your moms and answer all their super important questions about technology.
Oh my gosh, and I'm sure they have many. I have many, many questions. In fact, kids are starting younger and younger with social media accounts, and I have an only 2-year old. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but it begs the question, what are some of the things parents can do to protect their kids who are so young from some of these social media sites?
One of the things that I really encourage parents to do is to start thinking about your virtual playground long term. Like most parents don't realize that when you post a new photo with your pregnancy belly saying, hey, we're due this date, and you tag your spouse, that has everything that I as a hacker need to go and call the state and just do checkups around that date time and get your child's identity, and I can steal it. So being aware of just these little things that we post and how everything is connected, even if your Facebook is private or your Instagram is private or you're only sharing it with a few people, this footprint starts for a lot of children before they're even born. So if we're establishing already with our friends and family the boundaries of this is acceptable to take photos and post, this is when it's not acceptable, and we start limiting those things, it makes it so much easier that when our kids are finally ready to get on social media, they're establishing those boundaries because they've already been established with the friends and family. It becomes kind of second nature. Now, if you're jumping into this a little late, it's not too late to kind of make some corrections and do things differently, because social media is new and we all didn't have these different types of things. And a lot of the things that I've learned are from my own stupid mistakes that I've done through the years as I've had kids and as they've, gotten to teenage age and things like that. Just those kind of glimpses help us as parents really reflect it. So even if you've got, kids that are in their teenage years or tweens, you can start establishing these boundaries now and understanding the key principles of what's acceptable behavior, what's unacceptable behavior, and really understanding this world that they're walking into is going to help you so much when they start getting ready to go onto social media.
So you're saying it starts with us, the parents, and then when we're doing it correctly, that's when we can, well, you said that the kids just kind of see how it's done, and then we can teach them how to do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. It starts with you guys establishing what you want, establishing what you need, and knowing where the dangers are online and understanding how to teach your kids that. Because most of us hand them a phone and we say, okay, and then we are surprised when they stumble across an adult site and they have no idea what to do. And their first reaction is either to close it, delete it, and not tell you because they don't know how to react. So just establishing those things and going through those scenarios in your head and talking to your kids, keeping the lines of communication open is super important.
So how do you talk to your kids about cyber safety?
I make it a part of our everyday conversation, and I really relate it to in-person stuff. One of the things that makes my kids crazy, but it's something that I emphasize, is we talk about doing called the pinch test. If I can't pinch you in real life, then you're not a real person online, because I can be anybody. And they know I've done private investigative work where I've gone in and I've created alias IDs and things. So they understand that not everybody you see online is who they say they are. And so we've talked about different conversations like that. And a great way to do it with my teenagers that I've done is if I read about something in a newspaper or something happens to me where like I have Instagram and sometimes I get really random requests, I actually stop and will wait a couple days, kind of compose myself. And then I'll ask my kids, hey, has this ever happened to you? Has somebody ever sent this message to you? Have you ever got something that makes you uncomfortable? If they see that it happens to you, that takes away all the pressure of this is a crazy news story or this is a crazy like mom blog circulating thing that's going viral we're all concerned about. It breaks down the barrier so they feel like when it does happen to them or if it's happened to a friend, you're safe to approach. And that's the easiest way I have found to get my teenagers to open up to me, especially my boys, about what's going on online and what they're doing and what they're seeing.
I think that's so important. And you talked about creating a safe virtual playground. And so like we talked about, they're starting younger and younger on social media. So what is the acceptable app progression and use?
So for me, I teach a lot of this about in the classes and stuff, creating our safe virtual playground. Because when we were kids growing up, we learned that, hey, don't talk to the guy on the corner with the puppy if you don't have an adult by you because he could potentially be a not safe person. Don't talk to strangers, things like that. So it's learning how to translate those things online. And every mom has it. We all have our special parks we go to. We have ones that are totally perfect for our teenagers with the skate parks and the really big, humongous 2-story climbing gyms. And we have ones that are like for our toddlers that nowadays the parks have gates around them and they've got like security guards sometimes because they've got thousands of moms there. And so we each have our parks. And so when you apply that to the technology in your home, it's a matter of looking at from a child's eye view, what can I access? Where can I access it? Where shouldn't I be able to access it? Bedrooms and bathrooms. I always tell parents, especially now, even if we're all doing online things, anything can happen behind closed doors. So making sure that you set those physical boundaries in your home and then progressing it with, like, I use a lot of our router. That's my favorite tool to tell parents, learn how to use your router. Don't just buy one straight off the shelf. Start learning how to use those tools because now they have apps and things. But I've noticed with a lot of these apps, they do not do half the stuff that my home does. My kids can't access YouTube unless it's on my TV and they have the password. It's got 3 security layers to it. Same thing with our video games. Same thing with my computers and stuff. Everything has to have these boundaries. And it's not about relying on these apps. It's about diving into the technology. And I know for some parents that can seem overwhelming. So that's why I tell parents, start with what you're comfortable with and what you know. If you're super into Android and your kid is asking you about an app, instead of saying, no, you can't have TikTok, or no, you can't get on Hangouts, you can't get on Clubhouse, you say, I don't know anything about that app, and you don't know anything about that app. Let's sit down together and let's learn what's happening on that app, what's safe. Like, let's go far left, let's go far right, and let's kind of come in the middle together and establish what you're going to do to earn that app. Maybe they don't start on that right away. Maybe you start with something simpler like Facebook Messenger. Facebook's a great safety one for most parents. I don't like that route, but if you start with a family account and you say, you know what, let's get used to this first, and then we can progress to this. A lot of kids, most of the time, when you've established that and you walk through that, they're so much more willing to jump on board and say, okay, you know what, this is okay. Because you didn't say no, you said, let's pause and let's put on our driver's belt and learn how to use this app safely so that once we get it, then I can give you the keys and I can feel safer with you driving off into the night by yourself.
Safer. That's the key. Yes. You never feel completely safe, right?
Right. You don't feel completely safe with your 16-year-old as they drive off to the grocery store because you're still worried about them, but you have confidence in what you've taught them, and it takes you a while to build that up. So it's very similar to learning how to drive, just establishing that pattern and being able to go just step by step with your kids. And for each kid, it's okay if it's different. It's totally okay if it's different, because one thing your teenager is going to teach you for your second kid what you didn't know with the first kid. And your second kid is going to teach you what you definitely didn't know with the third. By the time you get down to the 4th, 5th, or 6th, you're going to have it down. And you're going to be able to do so many more things because you learn from everyone else. So if you're going to make mistakes, I'm going to tell parents it's okay. And it's better that the kids make them in your home than at a friend's house or at school or anywhere else like that.
And so that's why you want them to be in your home. And that's why you don't just straight up say, no way, because then they're just going to go do it somewhere else. I love that. Chelsea Brown, information security consultant, and she's been helping parents secure their homes from the dangers of cyberspace for the past 8 years. Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Lauren. And if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me on our website, digitalmomtalks.com. I've got tons of stuff there. There's not how-tos because I don't post stuff that changes in 10 seconds.
Smart. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Chelsea.